Learning that I don't have to punish myself for not showing up as the woman that I know that I have potential to be has been one of the hardest things that I've been dealing with this year. I'm realizing that I get into these cycles of guilt. I get into these cycles of shame because I feel like you knew what you're supposed to do. You know, if you do this thing, it'll make you go forward in life. You know, if you do this thing, it'll help you get the body you want. You know, if you do this thing, it'll help you make more money. And it's like, aren't you tired of struggling? Aren't you tired of complaining? You know what you need to do, so why aren't you doing it? And when I don't do those things, I get into a cycle of shame, of feeling bad about myself, and honestly doing worse things. And so a day that I said I was supposed to do, a multitude of things such as going to the gym, meal prepping, posting content, when I don't do those things, the next day I wake up in the morning later because it's like, what's the point? The next day I wake up and I want to be on my phone all day, knowing that I shouldn't be doing those things. But I feel like I punish myself because there is this thing of me feeling like, why do you deserve it? You didn't do what you're supposed to do yesterday, so why do you think you get to deserve to be the person that goes to the gym today? Why do you think you deserve to be the person that gets to live the life that you want to today? And I had to realize that I have to stop doing this to myself because it is literally drowning me. And I saw a video on TikTok that depicted this so well. There was this lady who mistakenly spilled a little bit of water on herself. And so she spills a little bit and then she pauses. And then she spills the entire bucket of water on herself. And for me, that was a representation of the cycle of shame and guilt that a lot of us feel. We mistakenly pour a little bit of water on ourselves. We mistakenly wake up late. We mistakenly forget to post that content. We mistakenly, get tired at work and you come home and you told yourself you're going to meal prep. You told yourself you're going to send that email or do those things. And it's like, I'm really tired. I'm really exhausted. I wasn't expecting to feel like this. And instead of us pausing and saying to ourselves, okay, tomorrow we're going to do better. Okay, tomorrow we're going to look at it as a new slate. We're going to start a new day. We carry that guilt and that shame into the next day. And so what does that look like? Us pouring the entire bucket of water on ourselves. And then it's like, it makes for even more, I guess you could say, problem to clean up, but it makes us feel even worse. And it's like, you knew the first time you didn't like when you had that little bit of water on you. It made you cold. It made you uncomfortable. But instead of acknowledging that thing and saying, you know what, I don't want to feel that way again, we go into this cycle of shame and make ourselves feel like you deserve it. You deserve not to get the body that you want. You deserve not to get the money that you want. And then sometimes too, I notice I get into this cycle of just acknowledgement. And that sometimes could be even worse. There's this thing of me feeling like it's my fault. Dang, it's my fault that I wasn't able to, post content today because I knew I should have woken up early. It's my fault I wasn't able to go to the gym today because I knew I should have packed my gym clothes in my bag after work so I could just go. It's my fault. And I think sometimes too, the problem with us only acknowledging it's our fault is that we don't realize that that's just us making up an excuse or just using it as like a way to get out of not doing what we're supposed to do. Because there is this feeling of, well, at least I know. At least I know it's my fault. I'm not blaming nobody else. Listen, I know it's my fault that I'm not making the money I want. I know it's my fault that I don't have the body I want. I don't have the followers. I don't have the business. It's my fault. I could say that. It's my fault. But it's like, when do you get to the point where you realize that means nothing? You constantly blaming yourself. You constantly acknowledging it's my fault means nothing. All you're saying to yourself is, yes, I'm the reason why I don't have the money that I want. I'm the reason why I don't. And so I think sometimes too, when we get into this self-improvement journey, we feel like that's the first necessary step and sometimes the only necessary step. And it's like, yeah, to a certain extent, realize it's your fault, but it's like you just get into this fault cycle. And people don't also realize too much acknowledgement of your fault gets you stuck in this guilt cycle. It gets you feeling like it's my fault this thing happened. It's my fault. I'm not saying that you shouldn't realize that, but I think you also should realize like not to shame yourself about it. It is your fault, but then what are we going to do differently this time? And I want to explain to you guys like 3 things that I'm currently doing because you guys know I'm always into the researching. So here are 3 things that I'm currently doing that hopefully will help anyone that's going through this guilt cycle and just kind of get out of it, and what I'm doing to get out of it, because it's hard and it's like I deserve so much more, not because I achieved anything, not because I honestly any more than I am myself. Like I had to realize that as well. Like I don't have to achieve something to be happy. I shouldn't have to get a certain amount of followers. I shouldn't have to make a certain amount of money. I shouldn't have to do these things. And I think a lot of times too, it's easier said than done. There is this thing of feeling like, I know I should feel worthy as I am. I know I should feel happy as I am, but I just don't. Like I could be honest with that. I just don't. And so here are some of the things that's been helping me. First and foremost, I've been realizing the uppers and the downers that are in my life. I do realize when I have a lot of downers in my life, that's when I go through more so this cycle of guilt and shame. And so the downers for me are things such as drinking. The downers for me are waking up in the morning and going on my phone. The downers for me are sometimes listening to certain kinds of podcasts. And I notice that when I have a whole bunch of downers in my life, that's usually first and foremost an indication that the cycle is about to start or that I am already in the cycle. And so that's one thing I've been trying to be aware of, like what are the downers, but then also what are the uppers in my life? What are the things that make me feel really good? And there are certain kind of podcasts that I know when I listen to these podcasts, it gives me motivation, it makes me feel good. There are certain things I do, such as working out. I know if I don't work out for a certain amount of days, it messes up my mental state. Of course, working out is great for your physical, but for me, definitely mentally, because it's also the preparation for working out, the waking up early, the going to the gym, just the feeling of, all the things that it gives you. Another thing too, sometimes for me, is sometimes certain music I listen to, or sometimes too, some uppers for me can be things such as certain foods that I eat. I do notice that when I eat fried foods, when I just eat overly processed foods, I feel really down about myself. And some of it is psychological. Don't get me wrong. Eating chips and junk food, yes, it affects your body and it makes you feel down. But I think too, psychologically, I feel worse. And this recently happened to me a couple days ago. I haven't eaten chips in so long, and I was having just a really down day in the guilt shame cycle that I've been in, and I went to the gas station, I got some chips, and after eating the chips I felt so bad about myself. And it wasn't even that the chips had a direct effect on my physical at the moment, even though I'm probably sure it did by now. Mentally, I'm like, why are you eating these chips ain't even that good, you just pay all this money. There's this thing of me feeling down. And so those are two things I definitely recommend to pay attention to. And then even create some too. Well, uppers. Let's not try to create any downers, but create uppers in your life. Realize things in your life. And I think one thing too, a lot of people like to say things such as, oh, you should be grateful and you should be this and you should be that. Yeah, to a certain extent, I do understand that. But I think also too, you have to create sometimes these feelings of gratitude. Things such as journaling are great. Things such as, prayer, reflection, all these things are great. But I'm also very big in the doing and the physical of it. And that kind of goes into number two, the second part that's been helping me, or helping me realize how to get out of this thing, is that a great analogy, or yeah, I recently heard about this, was comparing it to, if you guys ever went to a sushi restaurant before that has like the circle and you just kind of pick up different kinds of food. It has like a train, like a sushi train. And so you sit outside of the train and they have different kinds of sushi. And there's some sushi that you may like and there's some sushi that you also might not like. But one thing you have to realize is that the sushi is always going to be there. The ones you do and you don't like. Of course, you are not trying to pick up the ones that you don't like, but that might happen. But at the same time, let's say you don't like raw tuna. If you pick up raw tuna, mind you, there's a whole bunch of other sushi there. Too many people pick up the raw tuna and they look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't like raw tuna. Raw tuna's so nasty. Raw tuna's so da da da. And so you're feeling this emotion and you're expressing yourself and you're so angry. And it's like, but you like shrimp tempura. It's right there. But you like California rolls, but it's right there. There's so many different things. And I look at that when it comes to your emotions. The feeling of guilt, I don't think is bad. I'm a big advocate of that. There aren't really good or bad emotions. They're just emotions. But I think it's so easy for us to harbor this feeling of guilt and to harbor this feeling of disdain and shame and all these other things if we feel like, and for some people, there isn't anything else on the sushi train. And I had to realize that for myself. Like, I have to, and I mentioned this in a previous video, but create experiences outside of the only current experience that I'm having that's bringing me joy, because I'm a big advocate. If something can bring you too much joy, it can bring you ultimate sadness. And I know I've talked about this before, but I just wanted to reiterate this because this is what I'm currently going through right now. I have too much invested into this channel, too much invested into this self-growth brand. And I had to realize, like, I love you guys so much. And I don't want to make it seem like I don't love you guys or care about you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. But it's like, I need a life outside of this. If somebody was to ask me, what makes you happy? Like, what is something right now that makes you happy? I would say, oh my gosh, I love my channel. I love, reading books and creating content and da-da-da-da. And though that is a good thing because that's something that I can enjoy and express myself on and have a passion for, but it's like, what else? I don't have anything else. I can honestly say I haven't invested too much into the relationships that I have with people in my life. I haven't invested too much in different things outside of content. And I know for some people, y'all gonna sit here like, but girl, don't you have a video on 20, 40 hobbies? But don't you have video on all this other stuff? Yes. And I honestly wanted to create this video to show you guys that. And I don't think you guys thought I was perfect. I hope you didn't. But like, nobody's perfect. And even being somebody that researches this content and does this, I still struggle. And so one of the things that I'm doing is I need to create other experiences because I hold on to this guilt and this shame because it's the only thing that I have going for me. And I think too many people need to realize if you have only one thing that's making you happy, you have only one thing that makes you feel good about yourself, you have only one thing that you're striving towards and you're working to, then that thing also can be the reason why you feel like you don't have anything. You feel like you're struggling. You feel like you're not enough. And I think you need to create an array of different things that give you different emotions. So many people look at their sushi tray and they don't realize you only have 3 pieces of sushi on there. And then the biggest piece of sushi is the thing that brings you guilt, the thing that's bringing you shame. And so what are you going to do? You're going to focus and hyperfixate on that because you can't even say, okay, well, right now, I am feeling a little guilty about this thing. I am feeling, because that's normal too. Like you said, you're supposed to go to the gym. You didn't go to the gym. I'm not telling you not to ignore it. But at the same time, I want you to feel like, dang, I didn't go to the gym today. All right, well, regardless, I got to wake up tomorrow early because me and my friends are going hiking. Okay, regardless, tomorrow I got to do this, that. Like if your whole life is fixated, you're only eating healthy so you can get the body that you want. You're only meal prepping. You're only doing this thing to achieve one specific thing. If that thing isn't going well for you, everything else is going to feel like, what's the point? And I noticed that when it came to my channel. And that's why if you are in the Baltimore area, please comment below and also sign up for my newsletter because I am going to create a group. I realized sometimes you just want to feel something. Like I've realized I've become very numb to other experiences when it comes outside of my brand, when it comes outside of social media. And I don't know the particular feeling that I want to have. I think that's okay to acknowledge, but it's like I want to feel something outside of YouTube. I want to feel something in real life to help me get out of this cycle of guilt and shame and realize that there's other cycles I can be in. And so I do want to create a community and a group in the Baltimore area. If you're in the DMV area, the Baltimore area, I would love for you to come out. I do plan on having my first event sometime in May. So I want you guys to hold me to it. It's going to be in May. I'm thinking about my first event being like a hiking event. I'm trying to figure out, it definitely will be on a Saturday. I'm trying to figure out when I would specifically have that, around the weather and all these other things. But I want to start doing that possibly 2 times a month, give or take, not specifically hiking, but just different experiences because I'm realizing like I have to add some more emotions to the sushi train. I have to add some more pieces of sushi that I can take from. So it's like, you know what? I don't want to feel this. Not even say I don't want to feel this feeling right now. I am feeling this feeling. I accidentally picked up the raw tuna. I don't really like raw tuna. Well, let me pick up this. I have other things that I can hold on to. I have other cycles that I can be in and not be so dependent upon this one thing. And one of the final things I've been trying to do to help me with this cycle is to focus on one thing at a time. And due to the society that we live in, social media, everything is so fast. You're watching a movie while you're scrolling on TikTok, while you're cooking. Like there's so many things that we're doing all at once. And I had to realize it makes me feel more down about myself when I'm only doing sometimes one thing because it's like you could be doing something else. What you mean? You got to send out that email, but you go on your way to work. Okay, well, now you're driving and you're trying to send an email. Like you're just doing so much that when you're only doing one thing, I think a lot of us don't realize we get into the feeling of shame because we feel like it's not enough. I could be doing something else at this time period. I can be doing this. I could be doing that. And it's like, yeah, you can to a certain extent. But another problem is you have to realize you can't give 100% to every single thing. So now you're breaking up your energy. Now you're breaking up your focus. And now you're breaking up a lot of times the amount of time necessary for you to get something accomplished and do something. But then at the same time, I feel so guilty because it's like I should be doing more. I could be doing more. But you can't. Like I've had to realize that I can't do more than I can do and I shouldn't be trying to. And for me, it's starting with little things like wake up in the morning. Well, already in the morning, I do try not to be on my phone for a certain amount of time, but like wake up in the morning and don't be on your phone. Like getting ready for work and not being on my phone. Coming home from work and cooking dinner and not trying to turn on TV. Like focusing on one singular thing because I'm good for, okay, I need to send out this email. Oh, wait, dang, I did say that I was supposed to find an outfit for that girl birthday. Dang, I did say focus on one thing at a time. You said you're gonna find an outfit for that girl birthday. For the next 10 to 15, 20 minutes, you're finding an outfit for that birthday. Do not, I don't care if somebody texts you. That's another thing too. There's so many things that give out our energy. Just because somebody call you, you don't have to pick up. There's this thing of us always giving our energy out to other people and other things. You can call that person back later. It is not the end of the world. But I've had to realize that, like, if I try to do too many things at once, I feel so guilty when I can't do too many things at once. But it starts with small things, the little things that we think, oh, it's easy for me just to do this and this and this and that. But we don't realize our mind doesn't really sometimes understand the difference between like what's big or what's small. It's just kind of like we always do 2 to 3 things at once. So why can't you start this business and go to the gym and do this? And like, there's just so many different things that it's just like, it's actually not possible for you to do all these things that you said that you wanted to do in a day. And if you were to give these responsibilities to somebody else, you wouldn't treat them the way you're treating yourself. If they were to say, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to do this, that, we're very quick to give others grace. We're very quick to be like, oh, girl, that's fine. Because it was a lot anyway. It was this, it was this, it was that. But then ourselves, we give ourselves 50 million things to do. And then we forget 2 or 3 of those things. And it's like, you're so dumb. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And so I just had to realize, like, Shamia, only do one thing at a time. Stop priming your brain to feel like it has to do 50 million things at once, because when you can't do 50 million things at once, because it's not humanly possible to even do that every single day, you feel so down about yourself. And it's just like life happens. And I don't know, this has just been a very tough journey for me, because I do create self-growth content, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do feel like, why are you dealing with this? Like, don't you know this stuff? You've read books, you listen to podcasts, you've done all these things. Like, why are you going through this? But then I think that makes the shame feel even harder, and it makes it even worse, because I feel like I shouldn't be going through this. You shouldn't be going through this at this age. You shouldn't be going through this with all the experiences that you have. And I just had to realize, like, but you are. So just acknowledge the point that you are in your life, and also realize you don't have to achieve anything to deserve to be here. I've been on this achievement train for only Lord knows how long, of feeling like, to feel worthy, I have to achieve something, or I have to be doing something, and I have to be striving towards something. And to a certain extent, I am a big advocate of striving towards something does a lot of times give us purpose and passion. But at the same time, I think there's a difference between feeling like you want a purpose and a passion, and then also feeling like you have to achieve something because you think that that's going to make you worthy of love, worthy of care, worthy. We don't really realize it, but a lot of times we use achievement as a reason for us to be here. Like, I have to achieve something because I'm taking up space on this earth. I'm taking up space in this world. And I don't just want to be this bum, so I have to achieve something. I have to make a certain amount of money. I have to have degrees. I have to have a certain amount of followers. And I had to realize, like, Shamia, you deserve to be here simply because you were born. Simply because, don't even get me started because y'all know how I can get. But the fact that I'm here, how many people had to survive for me to be here? How many people had to meet for me to be here? Like, there was never a thing of coincidence. So Shamia, accidentally, no. I don't care what nobody says to you, or anybody has told you. You being here is not an accident. You watching this video is not even an accident. Like, everything is happening the way that it's supposed to. And you don't have to deserve to have anything. You didn't deserve to watch this video. You didn't deserve to eat. You didn't deserve, like, you don't have to deserve anything. You're deserving the moment that you breathe air on this earth. You're deserving because you are here. And I don't know, that's one thing that I've been having to deal with. Like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do yesterday. Or you, not even supposed to, you didn't do what you said you were going to do yesterday. And that's okay. But tomorrow, let's look at it as a clean state. Tomorrow, let's start new. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. I'm so sorry. I was tongue-tied a lot in this video. There's something going on. Long story short, I have to get my tooth fixed. So yeah, I was a little tongue-tied. Sorry about that. But thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys so much for being here for me. I have been going through a lot lately. I'm so sorry for not posting. Health issues, this cycle I've been going through. But that's why another reason why I need to create this group. I need to allow myself to really experience life. And I'm just realizing how short life is. And I'm also realizing, in connection to how short life is, how much time we wasted being down on ourselves and feeling guilty and having all of these emotions of just things that we don't want to feel, and just allowing that to embody and encompass us because we feel like we haven't done enough, or we're not worthy enough, and we're not enough. And it's like I kept saying in this video, you are enough how you are, who you are today. It doesn't have to be in correlation to what you did yesterday, and has no correlation to what you're going to do tomorrow. So thank you guys so much. Of course, don't forget to go below and sign up for my newsletter. I did say in the Baltimore area I'm going to have stuff, but eventually I do want to spread out. So of course, follow for that. Definitely follow my TikTok. I've been posting on there. I have my Pinterest and just all my other things. So thank you guys and have a great one.